Back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, the countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go.
Now we're back from the dead.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, and I am so much better that I'm finally able to film, and I actually got to work a little bit today, and it was like, yay, finally we're getting back on track. I still have not been completely cleared from surgery to eat regular, real foods, and it's been a really long healing process. Like, they told me max it would be 2 weeks, now we're going on to 3 weeks, and still too scared to eat like sharp food like chips, or I wouldn't even dare try anything like that. But that's okay, because what matters is that I'm here finally getting ready to film for you guys. So I thought I actually had some other stuff planned to talk about, and I don't know if some of you guys follow me on Twitter, some of you don't. I had a really bad nightmare last night. I wanted to talk about that and kind of go into a discussion on what Nightwatchers are, or Nightstalkers are, that lead into possible nightmares. There's a distinct difference between getting a friend or a family member that's crossed over coming to visit you, either in your dreams or in your house, versus something that you're just not familiar with, like an unfamiliar energy. And that is exactly what happened to me last night. These things can not only lead to nightmares, but they can lead to like astral projection, sleep paralysis, which I'll talk about on briefly. I'm not going to go into an in-depth conversation about those topics. I'll save those for another day, but I do want to just discuss Nightwatchers and Nightstalkers. So even though the name or the title of Nightwatchers, Nightstalkers sounds scary, it's not always a scary thing. But when you do have something scary happen that leads into a nightmare, it definitely makes you think twice about what's going on and what's surrounding you. So last night was the second night that I actually got a full night's sleep, because I've been like up and down at night just because I was still healing from surgery. But 2 nights in a row of a full 8-hour sleep, I was so thrilled. And at like 5 in the morning, I sat up in bed and I had the most vivid, wild nightmare that you could imagine. So I had this dream that there was a doll that was kind of talking to me, or like discussing things with me. And most of the discussions were it trying to get me to trust it. And when I was communicating in this dream, it had its back to me. I could see it was, off the ground. It was a doll. But the head of the doll was not looking at me, and this thing would not communicate with me and let me look it in the face or in the eyes, or whatever you want to say. So it was kind of playing this like tag catch me game, all night in my dream. It was so vivid, guys. And so finally there was a point in the dream where I was just kind of getting fed up. I was trying to communicate with whatever it is. It's like, I was like, why are you here? What do you want from me? What do you want to discuss with me? And it wouldn't give me any clear answers. And so I was kind of at the point where I was just like over it, And so later in the dream, I feel like I kind of could feel myself wanting to exit. Like, I just knew it was a dream. I knew that this thing was communicating with me, and I didn't want to be there anymore. And so in the dream, this doll ended up kind of bringing in my dogs, which my dogs are like my children, and I didn't like that. So consciously in my dream, I still knew that, my dogs aren't really here. This isn't real, so I'm not stressed about what's happening. But he was trying to lure the dogs into kind of this like basement dark area of wherever we were. I don't even really know where we were. It was inside of a house. I remember something about like a tent being up, And the owners of this doll keep it in a tent or like hidden away from other people. And I didn't like that. I thought it was creepy and I wouldn't really go near the tent. In fact, I remember at one point, like, it was trying to lure me into the tent, and I actually, like, knocked it down with my hand, because I was like, no, that's creepy, and I'm not going to do it. The tent wasn't huge. It wasn't like a child's tent. It was like a doll tent. And so I knocked the tent down, and, like, I could feel it get, like, upset or, like, jittery, that it was trying to intimidate me, and it wasn't working. So that's when it kind of resulted to taking my dogs and trying to lure my dogs. So my 2 oldest dogs followed me in the dream even, like they weren't gonna have it either. Like, no, this is my mom and I don't go. But I do have a puppy, and my puppy, her name is Princess. She's not really a puppy. She's about 1.5. She's still a baby. And she's kind of a dodo. She's like one of those dogs that's like just kind of, she's very smart. She's been trained, but she's still kind of a dodo. And so Princess is the kind of personality that if you came to my house, she would think you came just to visit her, no other reasons. So whatever happens in the dream, this doll lures my dog down with it into this dark hole. I think wanting me to follow it. And I was like, no, this isn't real. I'm not going down anywhere. My dog isn't really down there. You know, it was like tricking me. It was trying to trick me. And so basically I just like turned around and left. I don't know really the events, what happened. My dog didn't really come back out of there, but I knew it wasn't real. And I remember just turning around, being fed up, kind of telling myself that I'm going to call for St. Michael because I'm going to get out of this dream. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. It's uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on. And then right before I called for, you know, my spirit guides and St. Michael to get me out of this nightmare, this doll tells me that I should trust it, and its name is Joseph. That was specifically the name it gave me. And I slightly remember getting a better visual on the doll, and it's actually a female doll, baby doll, but it's a male that is attached to this doll. So if anybody out there knows of a haunted popular doll that's haunted by an entity named Joseph, hit me up and let me know if you have any idea what I'm talking about. So anyway, long story short, so I'm like, okay, St. Michael, you know, get me out of this dream. I don't want to be here anymore. And I literally sat up in bed immediately. I have trained myself even in dreams, because I've told you guys, I've been followed home. I've had bad things happen in my house. I try to scoot it out as fast as possible, but sometimes you get random things like this, right, happening. And so I have trained myself that if I know I'm in a nightmare or in a bad dream or a sleep paralysis state, which doesn't happen very often, that I will call for St. Michael and I'm out of that dream immediately. And that's what happened. So I sat up in bed and I was like, it's like 5 in the morning. I ended up tweeting a couple tweets. And I knew that before I went to bed, I was going to have to ask, you know, for St. Michael or spirit guides, whatever, to come in and clear my house to make sure that it wasn't in my house. Where it came from, I don't know. I haven't been to an antique store. To be honest, I've hardly left my house because I've, you know, been healing from surgery. So it couldn't have been like an attachment brought home. And so anyway, all of a sudden I hear 2 really loud bangs, and one of the doors on the other side of my house, it was like the guest wing, slammed shut. And there was another bang, and it was weird. So I went through and I cleared it out, felt like it was gone. I did go back to sleep, and I didn't have any other nightmares or any problems. The weird part was, though, is the first time I sat up, when I'd gotten out of the dream from calling to ask help from St. Michael, my dog Princess, which is the one that went down into the hole of this dream, she woke up at the exact same time. My other 2 dogs, they didn't, but they're older, they didn't wake up, but my chihuahua, my little chihuahua, did wake up. So then I thought, well, that's odd. Did she actually have that same dream with me, you know, like, and so the weird thing was, after I decided to go back to bed, she usually sleeps, she's pretty independent, she sleeps by herself, she wouldn't leave my side. So it made me think, could there be a connection, you know, that we actually both experienced this or had this dream? She slept with me until we woke up a few hours later. So that was crazy. What are Nightwatchers and Nightstalkers? Where did they come from? I don't know. I have no idea. You know, there's so much still unexplained about the other side, and, you know, with paranormal phenomena, that we don't know how much we could be transferring to even a friend or, you know, someone else that's in this field that's a paranormal producer that I know could have transferred it to me. You know, connections, it's like a super highway. We don't really know how it all works. but it was pretty freaking crazy. It was scary. It creeped me out. My question to you guys is, have you had this happen before? Have you had a night watcher or a night stalker like this, where it basically feels like it's in your room or in your house and you end up having nightmares about it or dreams about it or something like that? Has it happened to you? If it has, comment below. And if you've had a bad dream or a nightmare like this regarding a night stalker or a night watcher, let me know and comment below. So now when I say night watchers and night stalkers aren't always bad, I can also use another example, something that happened kind of towards the end of February. I'm not claiming this is the entity that came in, first of all, for the record, with clear communication to you guys, because Mercury is in retrograde. This is just an assumption by what happened regarding my friends that had happened in February. There was a model she was really known for MySpace. I don't even remember her name on MySpace, but anyway, her name was Christine, and I'll put a picture up here somewhere. So I didn't know her personally. MySpace really, I had a MySpace profile like right as I graduated high school, I think, or something. I didn't even have one very long. But a bunch of my friends today that are actually, they modeled for like Suicide Girls. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. They knew Christine from modeling and from makeup artistry. She was known as like this really big independent makeup artist online. And so she'd actually died, I think it was like a month prior to anyone finding out, which everyone didn't find out till like the 3rd week of February. And a bunch of my model friends were like, oh my God, I knew her. I can't believe she died. And like, they were really shocked. And I was like, wow, that's really sad. You know, what happened? And so the night one of my girlfriends called me to tell me about her death, but the night after my friend that knew her called me, I was having some serious activity in my bedroom. Now, I'm not saying that it was her. I don't know. But the activity I was having, oddly, was connected to her, which is I have a ton of makeup drawers. And a lot of you guys that follow me on my other channel know, because I'm a makeup artist, I'm a cosmetologist, I have a shit ton of makeup. And so I have these plastic drawers that have like makeup drawers, and then inside of them there's like lined up lip glosses and eyeliners. If you open up those plastic acrylic drawers, they make like a rattly like kind of shake. In fact, I'll just show you. Hang on a second. So this is what the acrylic drawers look like. I didn't bring in the whole thing because they're big and they're heavy. So for like the week after it was announced that it was her death, I would hear someone opening these drawers, which they sit on plastic too, so that's loud. But then inside I have different products. Like this is a bunch of, I think this is all eyeshadow primers. So each drawer is like different with product. But when you open the drawer, it makes this kind of noise. So it's pretty distinctive. But for that whole week, it was like someone was going through my makeup, because I have a shit ton of makeup. And I just kept hearing it all night. And so I don't know her, obviously, like, and I'm not claiming that that's who came to my house, because I'm not going to be one of those people. But I did have kind of a connection, because my girlfriends that did do suicide modeling, they knew her. So that was odd. But considering night watchers, night stalkers, I didn't get affected, like, personally. Like, it's not like she was, like, haunting me or, like, trying to scare me or anything like that. But it was like knowing that she was there. And that was the only person at the time frame when it was happening, which was like the entire week of the last week of February, that I heard the rattling and shaking in my makeup. It hasn't happened since, and never happened before. I didn't get a bad feeling that it was anything negative. Maybe she just really liked my makeup collection. Another example of like night watchers, night stalkers that I've had happen that isn't bad, so it's not always bad, was when Christian passed away, my really good friend I talk about all the time. He's crossed over. I have a ton of pictures of Christian and I growing up, because I knew him from like 12 or 13 up, my whole life basically. And the first week after he died, it was an accidental suicide. I was finding his pictures all over the house, and it was mainly at night. Like if I'd get up to go to the restroom at night or get up to get a drink of water, in the middle of the floor there'd be like pictures, and you could hear something going through my I have a specific like picture drawers, and it was like something's going through the drawers, and it was like looking for a picture. and it was always Christian. And it was only that week and a half after he had first crossed over. Now, another scary example of a night watcher, night stalker that I didn't enjoy was, it was an old house that I had lived at, and I had been asleep one night. Once again, had no reason to provoke getting an attachment, had not done an investigation, nothing like that. And in the middle of the night, I'd had a dream, but it seemed like super realistic to me, that I woke up and there was a little girl in my face. I want to say she was between the ages of 8 and 10. She was extremely pale, like blue pale. She had really wet hair. She was dripping with water. And I think she had drowned, which is why she was blue and she was really wet with water. She'd had a nightgown on, maybe from like the 1800s era, if you know what I'm talking about. It's the long gowns with like long sleeves. And she was in my face. And it was like, the dream was happening, and it was like I would wake, not that I would actually wake up. Like in my dream, I would think I would wake up and I would see her in my face, and I'd be like, oh my God, it's not real. And I'd open my eyes, and it kept happening. And finally, I once again called for St. Michael, and I sat up, and she wasn't there. Actually, that never bothered me again. I never had a repeat incident, so I don't even know who that one was. Sometimes I just think that these things come in passing, and I don't know how they happen to walk into your house or your home or your territory, but they do. Now, how can this lead into, nightmares for obvious reasons if it's something bad? The thing, the doll that I had this dream of Joseph last night, scared me because it was trying to convince me to trust it, even in my dream. And I think that you're really vulnerable in dreams because, for the most part, I think we know when we're dreaming, or we have some sort of conscious idea if we're dreaming and what's happening isn't real. And I think maybe in a dream it thought that I would consciously just go along with it and accept it and not be afraid. And I don't like that. I'm very skeptical even in my real life of meeting people, making sure that they have good intentions. But that's where like a lot of this sleep paralysis kicks in. That's where people believe that an entity or a demon or an energy, whatever, is in their room, haunting them, stalking them, nighttime maybe, not even sometimes during the day, through dreams. And they basically are aware of what's going on, except they cannot move. They're in some sort of a sleep paralysis state, which actually, if you study psychology, there is a certain sleep phase where you are conscious and your body is paralyzed. I can't remember which sleep phase, so if you want to look it up, do it. But that's another topic I don't want to get super into. It is slightly tied into Night Watchers and Night Stalkers. And then also you can get astral projection, which is where basically your body's asleep and you feel like your spirit has left. Everybody has different opinions on it. Some people believe in it, some people don't. I've heard when you astral project, sometimes it's not on purpose, sometimes it is, but some people have had a hard time getting back into their body, and sometimes they feel like they're literally standing outside of their body watching this energy of a night stalker, night watcher with their body, and there's nothing that they can do about it. I'm not saying anything inappropriate's going on, but it's definitely some sort of a haunt or a night stalking sort of thing. What are these energies? I have no idea. Who is Joseph that came to me last night? Why did I wake up with such specific information? I don't know. I'm assuming maybe I'll eventually find out, or maybe not. Maybe it's something I'm going to future investigate, right? We have no idea. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there so that this topic is open for conversation, because I love it when you guys give me input. I think that when people go through similar things like Night Watchers, Night Stalkers, they feel alone and they feel like they don't have anyone to talk to about it because other people don't understand. I know a ton of you guys have had similar experiences to mine, so please comment below so we can start some good supportive conversations about it, so some people don't feel so alone or scared when it actually happens. I'm so glad I'm back. Hopefully you like my shirt, Mermaid in Training, because I want to be a mermaid. And make sure that you give me a thumbs up on my video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave me good comments below. Make sure you follow me on social media, and I will catch you guys next time.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead. Back from the dead. Back from the dead.